Thank you, Diamond Dave. Thank you, Global Val. This is Mr. Bloodflower on the piano. And this is Mr. J. Krishnamurti. Most of us are not in communion with anything. We're not directly in communion with our friends, with our wives, with our children. We're not in communion with anything directly. There are always barriers, mental, imaginary, and actual. And this separativeness is the cause, obviously, the cause of sorrow. Don't say, yes, we've read this, we know this verbally. If you are capable of experiencing it directly, you will see that sorrow cannot come to an end by any mental process. You can explain sorrow away, which is a mental process. But sorrow is still there, although you may cover it up. So, to understand sorrow, surely you must love it. That is, you must be in direct communication with it. If you would understand anything completely, your neighbor, your wife, or any relationship, you must be near it. You must come to it without any objection, prejudice, condemnation, or repulsion. You must look at it. If I would understand you, I must have no prejudices against you. I must be capable of looking at you without the barriers, screens of my prejudices and conditionings. I must be in communion with you, which means I must love you. Similarly, if I were to understand sorrow, I must love it. I must be in communion with it. I cannot do so because I'm running away from it through explanations, through theories, through hopes, through postponements. Which are all the process of verbalization. So words prevent me from being in communion with sorrow. Words prevent me! Words! Of explanation, rationalizations, which are still words, which are the mental process from being directly in communion with sorrow. It's only when I'm in communion with sorrow that I understand it. The next step is, am I, the observer of sorrow, different from sorrow? Am I, the thinker, the experiencer, different from sorrow? I have externalized it in order to do something about it, in order to avoid it, in order to conquer it, in order to run away. But am I different from that which I call sorrow? Obviously not. So I am sorrow. It is not that there is sorrow and I am different from it. I am sorrow. Then only Is there a possibility of ending sorrow? As long as I am the observer of sorrow, there is no ending of sorrow. But when there is the realization that sorrow is the me, that the observer himself is the sorrow, when the mind realizes it is itself sorrow, not when it's observing sorrow, not when it is feeling sorrow, that is itself the creator of sorrow and the feeler of sorrow, then there is an ending of sorrow. This is an extraordinarily difficult thing to experience, to be aware of, because for centuries we have divided this thing. This requires not traditional thinking, but very alert, watchful, intelligent awareness. That intelligent, integrated state is aloneness. When the observer is the observed, then there is the integrated state. And in that aloneness, in that state of being completely alone, full, when the mind is not seeking anything, not groping, neither seeking reward or avoiding punishment, when the mind is truly still, only then does that which is not measured by the mind come into being.